Всем добрейшего времени суток, с вами Горыныч и 8-я часть видеопрохождения игры Смертошлеп Стринги Доблести, Стринги Всевластия. Так, в этой части мы наконец-то закончим все квесты с капитаном. Нам нужно уничтожить сейчас последнюю 4-ю пушку. Я ее что-то пропустил, но сейчас вспомнил, где она находится. Сейчас мы ее грохнем. После этого пройдем через заснеженные горы и попадем в темный лес. Через этот темный лес дойдем до святилища. Что в святилище, там на что следует обратить внимание? На первого монаха, с которым Смертошлеп будет разговаривать. Это пародия на мормонов стопудово. Плюс монах-привратник, он будет называть имя настоятельницы, там просто обхохочешься. И неплохой разговор двух монахов. Один такой праведник, а второй, смеюсь, пить. Вот. Часть, не такая, чтобы очень большая, но прикольная. Да, и не забудьте, чтобы войти в святилище, надо, чтобы Смертошлеп получил почти смертельное ранение. То есть над ним должно сердечко загореться. Итак, смотрим 8-ю часть видеопрохождения игры Смертошлеп Стринги Всевластия. С вами был Горыныч. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Всем счастливо. Пока.
Greetings, Captain. Your cannons are nothing more than scrap metal.
Excellent work. Now we can finally get through, and maybe, just maybe, we'll find an ocean. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a ship to get ready.
sort of magical barrier is preventing me from touching this. This lock has a triangle, a diamond, and a teardrop on it. Greetings, wealthy citizen. I am... Oh, it's Rich Cabin.
Hello, friend of the rich.
What can I do for you, citizen?
You see, I have an ongoing competition with my arch nemesis, Derek Oil. I was featured in this magazine as the richest man in the land. And now it's time to savor Derek Oil's jealousy. If you happen to stumble across the swine, give him this magazine for me.
Sure, I'll deliver your magazine, Rich Cabin.
Haha, if I could frame this moment, I would.
Greetings, Spelunker.
Please enter that infested cave over there and retrieve a crystal sample for me.
Greetings, Spelunker.
Do you have any crystal samples for me yet?
Indeed. A dark forest crystal.
Sweet! See you at the next cave.
Greetings. I'm looking to buy some potions.
This is the statue of Walter the Clairvoyant. Walter always knew exactly what was going to happen to every man, woman, and child. Who they would marry, when they would die, and how they would spend their mundane lives. So, the villagers came to him, inquired about such things, and left with greater peace of mind. That is, until they began to hear things they did not want to hear. Stories of bloodshed, adultery, and the end of friendships. Failing to realize that such things would have happened regardless of Walter's predictions, the villagers gathered an angry mob late one evening and lynched poor Walter to death. Walter, of course, knew this was going to happen and was therefore prepared. So he braced himself for the inevitable with a smile on his lips. The villagers, on the other hand, spent the rest of their lives shrouded in perpetual confusion. This is the statue of Beatrice the Attractive. Beatrice was the most beautiful of all the gods and goddesses, and every man and woman on earth reveled in her magnetic charm. To celebrate Beatrice's beauty, a group of villagers built a statue in her honor. For 9 years, they slaved away at it, using only the finest materials. Finally, it was time for the grand unveiling. As soon as the cover was removed, an unearthly wail sounded from the sky. Beatrice, as it turned out, was not pleased with her statue. The villagers had made her nose just a little bit crooked. Sure, it was only a tiny mistake, but it was enough of a mistake for Beatrice to keel over and die of shock, thus forcing humans to search for beauty elsewhere for the remainder of eternity. This is the statue of Susan the Melodious. Susan had the sweetest, most beautiful singing voice in existence. It was so beautiful that it made flowers bloom and birds twitter happily. And all the villagers loved it. That is, until a traveling rock and roll band came to the village and instilled in its inhabitants a desire for louder, harsher music. So, they built guitars and drums and made noise with them all the livelong day. Susan, in the meantime, found herself forced to sing louder and louder to compensate for the noise, until one day she lost her voice. When this happened, the flowers stopped blooming and the birds stopped twittering, and without her previous sense of purpose, Susan withered away and died. The villagers unfortunately didn't notice, because they were too busy banging heads in the mosh pit. This is the statue of Albert the Powerful. Albert's superhuman strength was a much sought-after commodity to humans. Whenever something heavy required lifting, a boulder, a tree, a house, even a mountain, Albert would do so without question. One day, a group of villagers decided to ask Albert for a special favor. They were cold, so they wished for him to move the earth closer to the sun. Naturally, Albert obliged. As it turned out, the earth was heavier than anything Albert had lifted before. And this made him immediately collapse of exhaustion and die. Hence, from this day forward, humans had no choice but to live with their physical weaknesses. This is the statue of Lucy the Charitable. Lucy was a goddess so generous that she'd give anything she owned to anyone who asked. Food, clothes, widgets, you name it. She soon became known throughout her home village as the Mother of the Poor. Later on, however, word traveled about her superhuman generosity, and soon, people from other villages began to travel to her home and ask for stuff. Of course, she could never say no. Eventually, the poor had taken so much from Lucy that she no longer had anything left to give. Hungry as they were, they began to eat her alive. Yes, even the bones. The poor then realized that without Lucy's generosity, they would have to either learn to fend for themselves or starve to death. Naturally, they starved to death.
Greetings, monk. What exactly are you guarding, monk?
This is the Mother Mary Josephine Teresa, Henrietta Maria Catalina Alexandra, Melina Georgina Patricia Lolita, Armada Ramada Piranha Gonorrhea, Margarita Senorita Ballerina, Bacteria Cafeteria, etc., etc., Sanctuary for the Wounded.
Sanctuary? Finally, the wounded have a protected habitat to call their own.
We tend to the gravely injured. We do not breed them.
Why don't you step aside and let me in?
Only those gravely injured and near death may enter.
Who is this Mary Josephine whatever person you mentioned?
She has the kindest eyes and warmest heart. Even her kidneys are radiant. She has dedicated her life to helping those in need and providing a positive societal influence.
Let me through. I have business with your leader.
Visitors are not permitted inside the sanctuary.
But I am DeathSpank, hero to the downtrodden.
Only those gravely injured and near death may enter.
I should get going.
Peace be with you. By the gracious gravy of heaven, you're wounded! Quick, you must come inside so that we may tend to you.
I don't ever want to have to tell you two again. You are not to walk on the grass with bare feet.
With all due respect, Reverend Mother,
For the love of all that is holy, what part of it disrupts the pH balance don't you understand?
But, we apologize, oh compassionate one. It won't happen again.
See that it doesn't, because next time there will be eternal pain and torment involved. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have yoga exercises to attend to.
Make chaste and holy love, not war. I don't know, Brother Darren. I'm still not entirely comfortable with the idea.
Oh, don't be such a coward, Brother Dennis. The greater shame would be to waste such a lovely day sweltering in these robes.
Greetings, holy men. Trouble in paradise, I see.
I was merely suggesting to Brother Dennis here that we go for a short, unrobed swim in the lake, considering that it is indeed a very hot day and all.
And I was suggesting to Brother Darren that such a notion would be entirely inappropriate. We, men of the cloth, are obligated to conduct ourselves with modesty and dignity.
But it's not like anyone's going to see us.
The gods and goddesses can always see us, and believe me, we've nothing worth seeing.
A skinny dip in the lake does sound like fun.
See, Brother Dennis? It's not just me.
What is this world coming to? Have you no shame at all?
Why don't you just go swimming in your robes?
Absolutely not. Everyone will know what we've been up to if we stroll in here all soaking wet.
They do take forever to dry, you see.
There's no need to be so uptight about nudity. Well, you know, the gods and goddesses made you that way. So what's the big deal?
Exactly my point. We're recommuning with nature.
That is a valid point, but I still do feel a strong sense of discomfort with the idea.
Is swimming really less comfortable than just standing here?
What do you mean?
Think of it this way. Would you rather feel the cool, pleasant embrace of water all around you? Or would you rather stand out here in the scorching sun in those heavy robes?
Well,
you are starting to smell somewhat offensive.
Fine, I'll go.
Last one in is a logical thinker.
I am one with the universe. Peace be upon you, brother. Welcome to our sacred place of healing.
Greetings, monk. I should get going.